Welcome, my chingus, to the after show for episode 105. If this is your first time tuning in, this is not the main episode. This is the fingertips of the main episode, where we talk about random topics of interest. Now, this episode, we will do a follow-up to our top 10 K-pop songs of 2016, where we're going to talk about some of the songs that didn't make our list. We're going to give out some awards and some grades, and we're going to talk about what we want to see in 2017.
Yeah, kind of like a recap after show.
Right. It'll probably be a short one, but short and sweet. That's how Josh likes it, as he was telling me earlier.
Okay.
All right. Not sure that made sense. Now, we're going to try a new thing this year.
Yeah.
And it already caused some confusion with Josh and me earlier, so it may or may not go well, but we're going to kind of give a grade to all of the major companies for kind of the year as a kind of yearly summation. So we're going to give like a grade to SM, YG, JYP, and then some of the smaller companies as well. Then we're going to talk kind of about, you know, maybe do some rest in peace to some of the groups that we lost.
Yeah, a lot of groups this year.
Yeah, and maybe then talk about some of the new groups that happened this year, and then give out some awards that don't mean anything and are entirely subjective.
And they mean nothing.
Yes.
At all.
Much like everything else we say.
Or do.
That's true. They mean nothing. So let's start. Now, first, I want to talk about SM Entertainment.
Okay.
And kind of, I want to give them a grade. All right. How did they do? Right. If their mother, you know, opened the mailbox, what grade would SM Entertainment get?
Did you get your grades through the mail?
Yes. Only like the last 6 weeks, like, because you have your exams.
Right.
This is prior to internet, because nowadays you just check on the internet for your grades.
Right.
But yeah, like before winter break or before summer break, they would mail it to you because you can't get them at school anymore because you're on vacation. You didn't?
Well, in college, it was all online, of course. But in high school and middle school, I distinctly remember like our teachers giving us a sealed envelope to kind of take home. And I just remembered being very good at unsealing and sealing envelopes.
Right. I mean, but that's what we did. But how did you get it for the last 6 weeks or whatever you do in California?
What do you mean last 6? Like after finals?
Yeah, because after finals, you don't have school anymore. So how do they give you the grades then?
I think for midterms we took it home, and then for finals, I think they mailed it to us.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I think maybe I'm not 100% sure. My memory for that, like everything, is fuzzy.
All right. Well, either way, the internet now exists, and you can just check your grades online. Which, by the way, this is the after show, so it can be a little tangenty. Sorry, new time listeners.
Sorry.
But you know, I was a teacher in America, and nowadays, you're right. You can check every grade, up to the minute grades on the internet. Right? You just log in. There's a special parent site. There's even a separate one for the students, and the parents just got to log in. Do you know how many parents have never once checked their child's grades, despite it being at
their fingertips?
On their finger, yeah.
Literally fingertips.
All they have to do is just, even on their iPhones, just look at their kids' grades. I would guess maybe like 50% of them have never once checked it. And it's always divergent. It's like, there's the set of parents who check it religiously every day, right? Not even the tiger moms,
right?
Not even them, just the parents that care about the grades, but it doesn't mean they're full tiger. Like they don't force their students to live and breathe school, right? And then there's like the other half where they don't even know how to log in. They don't even
kind of like technology impaired.
Yeah, maybe they're technology impaired, or they're so busy, or they just don't care enough. Like they care about the general well-being of their kids, you know? Anyways, it was always kind of sad to me. Maybe it's better now. It's 5 years later since I've taught in high school, but
I doubt it. I really doubt it.
That's why I ran away to Korea. And it's so weird because in Korea, they don't really, you would think they'd be on top of this like online grade thing, but they do grades totally different in Korea, where
it's really kind of archaic.
Yeah. And they only have
pens
like
and
a
pencils
handful of
and-
grades a year
yeah.
because they don't grade homework and they don't have
No.
quizzes.
It's just mainly like 1 or 2 tests. That's it. Two
Yeah.
tests. Two
Yeah.
tests.
2 tests like an entire
Mhm.
year. Those are the only ones. And that travels with you for the rest of your career, starting in middle school, I think, or even elementary school.
Yeah.
I'm
Which
not quite
is
sure.
Donkey Kong.
Anyways, so we're going to grade like a Korean tiger mom. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to give a grade to these companies. SM is first. Josh, why don't I start?
Sure.
All right, because I sprung this on you when you came here today. I want to
Right.
give you some time to think and also understand what the hell I'm saying.
Okay. It's brewing in my mind. It's brewing.
Right. So before I get to the grade, I want to kind of sum up 2016 as far as I can remember
For SM.
for SM.
Right.
And one of the biggest things SM did this year is that they unleashed the SM station,
Yes.
which you probably know by now, but they released, for the most part, one song a week for all 52 weeks. Some of them were by big name stars. Some of them were by rando producers that they keep hidden in the basement, to like classical musicians, to just all sorts of random things.
Yeah. And in the same kind of vein, a lot of SM, like I guess artists that were part of groups made their solo debut through Station, I think.
Yeah, it gave them a lot of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And last year's after show, I think we were talking about how cool that kind of was,
Mhm.
and the opportunities and the what ifs. And after going through 52 of those songs, I really do think that at least the Station part gets like a C. It gets like an average to me, because yes, it gave opportunity. So I don't want to say it failed, because it definitely allowed SM to have a wider range of releases, which is important, I think, because SM previously has done a lot of just the same olds, right?
Yeah. I think for me, I would give the Station part maybe not as harsh a grade, maybe like a C plus or B minus, because like you said, I think SM was able to experiment a lot with like different sounds and kind of have the artists do things that they wouldn't normally get to do. So I think that's really great for a company like SM, who are really kind of like, you know, girl
Right.
group, boy group heavy,
Like machine,
very machine. Like they pump out boy groups and girl groups and they stick to the mold. You know, they have like, they're very machine and very uniform. So I think it was really good for them to kind of branch out of their shell, I guess, and kind of do the Station thing, and also kind of give them a little bit more points, because for me, I thought that they would kind of cut it out, you know, after it wasn't successful. But a lot of those songs weren't successful, and yet they kept having
Right,
Station
they
songs
committed.
coming out. They were consistent, they were committed, and for that, I think like a C plus B minus.
But I also don't, the reason I wouldn't go up that high is because I don't think any of the songs, other than like, yeah, Taeyong's song was considered a Station song, but that could have been a single, and
Right.
it would have been a single if Station didn't exist. So in my mind, I'm looking at all those other ones, like the more interesting kind of releases
more
that they had.
esoteric, like Boa ones and Luna ones, right?
Yeah, like those would have probably been released regardless. I just don't think any of those other songs were actually that interesting. Like
No,
they
they
had
weren't.
some spicy pairings. You're like, oh, I
Right.
never would have thought this and this would have happened.
Like Yoon Mi Rae was on one, I remember.
Yeah, but I didn't think any of the actual
Songs
songs
were all that great.
were noteworthy.
Yeah, that's why I would have to say probably C plus range-ish for me.
Yeah, I can go up to C plus, but B is a little crazy to me.
B minus might be a little bit too much, but C plus is, I think, the proper
But again,
grade.
we also have different, like, I have no idea what your actual C is, and I don't know
Right.
what your actual B is. But
Right.
so the Station part was a cool idea, and I heard, of course, they're continuing it this year, and so my hope would be to. It's like quantity over quality, right? It's I felt that if they maybe cut it to 40, or maybe every 2 weeks, 26, you could have a much better selection and less filler, and maybe I'll feel better about that. I don't
Right.
really know.
Well, I think it's we're kind of setting them up for failure in a way, because if we kind of look at the songs they do release that are good, we can say, oh, they would have released them regardless if Station was around or not. But we're really kind of looking for a very specific type of song, right? Like a good song that SM normally doesn't put out is a song that we're looking for and expecting from SM Station for it to be good, right?
Sort of. I don't. When I mentioned that Taeyong is already gonna, I don't think those songs are good. I just mean, I don't mean a good song. We would say, oh well, they would release that anyway. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if it's a big name person, despite some of those songs being not great at all, they would have came out anyways.
Okay, so let me ask this question in a different way then. So for 2017 SM Station, what are you expecting? What do you want from it? Is what I want to say.
Well, number one, I want less ballads, but I know that's crazy because that's Korea loves ballads, and Station is a very Korean thing. It's not meant for international audiences.
So less ballads, less songs.
I know that's not going to happen. That's my hope. Yes, I think I would wish for, because 26 songs is still a shit ton. With 52 songs, like every week or every 2 weeks we listen to all the songs, and I know we haven't heard all the Station songs, but I'm sure we've heard at least 90% of them.
Yeah.
Because of the good work at essentialkpop.com.
You see, yeah.
I literally, when making the list, how many Station songs made even our episodes, right? Like
very, very few, right?
How many of those Station songs even charted if they weren't Taeyeon or even the Luna ones that,
they didn't really chart.
They didn't really chart as well, even in Korea, right?
Right.
So like, I do wish the overall, it's a generic thing to say. It's like, I recognize the problem, but I don't necessarily know how to tell them to fix
solution,
it.
Right.
But I do think less songs, or even spicier songs. Cause like there were some weird combinations, but they weren't combinations where I was like, I want to hear that song. Right. Like maybe if Taeyeon, sorry, she's a little overused, but if Luna,
was really busy
if Luna
year.
was like, yo, I made this awesome R&B song with Bumkey or with Dean, right? I'd been like, okay, that's something very interesting, totally out of SM's wheelhouse that I think I would want to hear, right?
For me, even that isn't spicy enough for me to want to hear, even though it is Dean. Like what I want out of SM Station out of 2017 is more, well, one, like you said, less songs. I think oversaturation of songs is a huge problem. Going back to like when Brave Sound was going to do that kind of calendar year thing where they released one song a month. Even I thought one song a month was too much. So even like 12 songs from Station in a year, I think would be a lot. But I just want the general quality to be higher. Because for 2016, I really felt that most of the songs, like maybe 75% of the songs, were throwaway songs.
True.
And I feel like a good 10% of the songs that are left, they're just kind of riding by based off of who they're smashing together. Like, oh, they have Yu Mireille on this track and it's not very good. They have this person. I think they had a good amount of spicy pairings as is, but that wasn't compelling enough for me to want to listen to them.
Actually, I remember us talking about our hopes for it, and we were like, yo, man, what if like they brought in, like EXO members could have a duet with ethnicity, like more like group cross-pollination, but that never happened. It was always like, if there was a K-pop member at all, it was always paired with an indie artist or like someone we've never really heard about nor cared about or wanted to see, right? Like in my head, I was like, oh, this could be like the most epic fan fiction universe, right?
Yeah.
Where we would never get this kind of song or this kind of song. And it really was kind of, which maybe is our fault for the assumption.
Yeah, maybe over expectation.
Right? Yeah, to be just SM indie town for 80% of them.
What I think if I had to kind of pin it down to something that exists already that I want to see SM do is around this time, end of the year, there's a lot of award shows, right? And a lot of kind of these kind of specials where, like, for example, like Infinity Challenge does this end of the year kind of collaboration thing, and usually those songs just kill the charts, right? And they're doing it right now, and they're killing the charts. I would really like to see SM do something like that with their station, where they have these collabs, or just have like their existing groups just maybe do a cover of old songs or something like that. I think that would do really well, commercially for one, and I think I would really enjoy that as well.
Like use the star power.
Yeah, use the star power you have in order to kind of, I guess sometimes nostalgia, sometimes something new, just kind of spice it up besides just all indie, because 2016, like you said, was Station's just SM Indie Town.
Yeah. But then the other thing that goes with, the reason the Infinity Challenge do so well is because it only happens once or twice a year. It really doesn't happen much, so like.
Yeah, and that's like a different dynamic, right? It happens only once a year and they release, 10 songs at once.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why, if you have Station every week, it gets a little crazy. But looking at this list, like of all the Station songs, like some of them are pairings that I think previously we were like, oh, they would be kind of
really
cool.
Spicy.
Like
yeah.
Boa and Beanzino. That would be kind of cool, right? Or, Triple T, but like.
They weren't really that great songs.
Actually, I forgot Triple T was a Station song. That's kind of crazy.
Like Tiffany, Simon D.
Yeah.
Some spiciness in here still, though.
But sadly, I think the music quality, at least for our sensibilities, wasn't great. But anyways, Station was only part of kind of SM's path this year. Their big thing this year was kind of unleashing. I know the seeds were planted, I think, in 2014, but like, wait, 2015? Because it's 2017 now.
Yes.
I remember the very first day on Reddit, someone was already like, got it, which was they wrote the date wrong. They're like 1/1/16. And I'm like, I remember as a teacher, it would, or even as a student, I would 100% fuck up the year whenever. Actually, I wrote something the other day and I wrote 2015. And I was like, what's wrong with me?
Where am I?
Where am I in life? What's wrong with me?
Who am I? What year is it?
Have come from the past.
Right.
Anyways, they unleashed kind of NCT and kind of the NCT umbrella, the next level, the Neo Culture Technology Unit or whatever. And
I still don't understand what the fuck's going on with that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right. From what I've researched, right? It's an umbrella blanket. It's very similar to like Morning Musume or the Japanese style where people, they can make random subunits wherever they want. They can introduce people and let them go at any time that they want. It's an ever evolving group that will be around forever.
Yeah, and right now I think they have kind of three main groups that they've introduced already, like NCT and NCT like 127 or something like that. Is that right?
There's NCTU.
NCTU, okay.
There's NCT 127.
Okay.
And I guess normal NCT.
Right.
But again, the exact lineups are ever flowing.
I really don't understand
like the
what's
river
going on.
of K-pop or whatever.
Like maybe I don't care enough, but I really don't know what's going on with NCT and what they're doing.
It's definitely a combination of it's confusing and also we don't care. Like I know there's a hardcore NCT fans that are like, well, obviously if you just fucking Googled it, you would know. And it's like,
we have Googled it.
We
still don't understand.
Googled it. And it's still a little confusing, especially in the beginning, when Fur Truck and song, like it was a little confusing as to who was on which subunit and what any of that was.
I think also because at that time they still had SM rookies, and I think they still have SM rookies. So it's like, okay, SM
I
rookies,
think the
NCT,
rookie is now NCT. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
SM, I don't understand what you're doing. Right.
Well, either way, for me, in thinking of a grade, I'm like thinking of what they released with NCT. And I know a lot of people, we read a bunch of lists and a lot of people liked some of the Seventh Sense or Fire Truck and stuff like that. But for the most part, I was kind of disappointed with NCT's releases. And
underwhelmed.
Right. And I know, we don't, we have this stigma of like, it's not our thing. But like, I've liked EXO stuff. And I just didn't feel that NCT, it's like that consistent problem where it's like, what's the point of making a brand new group if all they're going to do is kind of the exact same thing, Like
an EXO mini.
Right. And we'll probably talk about that in the YG section later.
Right.
But I thought the songs were decent, definitely not barn burners.
No.
And so I was overall a little bit disappointed. I do want to see in the future whether or not NCT includes women or girls, I should say, because they're definitely not women. They're probably teeny little girls.
Right.
And whether or not they can do some co-ed stuff or however NCT works. Like there is a future. There's an excitement that could happen, but I didn't think it was particularly exciting at all because they just made generic boy group number 1 and generic boy group number 2 and generic boy group number 3.
Yeah. And I mean, starting with, 2000, end of 2016, 2017, Card has come up and that like caught our attention as a co-ed group, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that they can do more things with NCT rather than just SM it, because that's basically what I see right now is that NCT is just SM being SM. They're just saying like, oh, we have a new boy group, we're just putting it out and promoting it in a different way.
Right.
Like they're not pulling the veil over my head about like this new cultural technology, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that. Essentially what I've seen is it's just a huge ass group of boys and they're just going to pick and choose subunits from them, and they're essentially just a boy group. It's nothing new. That's what the thing is.
But at least if you make great songs, we won't care.
Yeah, we won't care, but...
also, the other one was NCT Dream. They did that super cutesy one.
Yeah.
So
that was a CF song, too.
I actually have no idea.
Anyways.
I heard it once and was like, definitely not my thing.
Nope.
So NCT happened, and then, of course, a lot of people started doing solo work, which is something we've also mentioned in the past, wanting SM to do more. They really haven't done that much solo stuff other than ballad dudes and ballad women singers, right? And
not real solos.
Right. But which is, it's hard to be a real soloist, I guess. And, they did take a lot more chances. Like Tiffany did a lot of stuff. Luna did some stuff. She came back with new face and everything. Some of the EXO members did some stuff. And of course, Taeyeon did a lot of stuff this year.
Yeah, Taeyeon being the biggest amongst them.
And I mean, EXO, they did release Monster.
EXO being EXO as a whole. But for me, EXO compared to EXO in the past, not as big an impact in the whole kind of scene as they've had before.
Right. So I think in general, that's kind of what's up with SM. I think for me, I would give them as an overall score, on the report card, I would give them a C because I think they didn't do anything great, amazing.
Nothing really out of their uncharacteristic of them.
But they didn't do anything particularly horrible.
But nothing particularly good as well.
Thank you for repeating exactly what I just said.
Yes.
John. Thank you. What would you give them, do you think?
I think it would have to be a C+. Because even though they kind of did the same old, I think Taeyeon's solo was actually very, very good. Because Taeyeon being, a soloist that a lot of people have been waiting for a really long time. 2015 wasn't a really good kind of showcasing of her debut and all that. So 2016, she was really, really busy, I think, and had a lot of songs that had a lot of commercial success. So I want to say C+.
I mean, maybe I can bend. I mean, because I liked Y. I mean, it was like number 5 or something on my list, right?
That's right. Maybe top 10, right?
Yeah. But I in my head, like I think even though you liked the Red Velvet song, which was also on your list, like I thought the Red Velvet song was disappointing, especially compared to the previous years. EXO's Monster, a little disappointing. NCT, that debut, I thought was not particularly that great. So even though Taeyeon kind of pulled the average a little bit up, I think I can go with C+, C+.
Okay,
but
somewhere in that middle.
Definitely middling.
Middling, yes.
And so are you hoping for anything from SM in 2017? More Girls' Generation? You want more of that party?
See, at this point, I don't know what SM could do. They really need to kind of
FX?
I don't know. They've kind of set themselves in this kind of plan that hasn't really produced any fruit, and it doesn't look like it's really going to produce that much fruit. Like it really seems like they're going to coast for a while.
Right, and that was our complaint last year too, which is that they would coast, and they need to stop coasting, or else it's going to screw them. But they
yeah.
still sell 1 billion fucking records, you know?
So they don't really need to, shake it up as much as we say that they do. But I mean, 2016, it's the same old SM, just trying to make it look different, but it's the same. That's what it is.
You know what? I almost forgot, but I also thought Shiny's stuff was
Shiny's
disappointing
stuff
too.
was extremely disappointing.
It was a lot of coasting, as you said.
Yeah, a lot of coasting.
So if I were to hope for anything, I hope. Do you think they'll release an NCT Girl version? I don't. Maybe that's already been announced. I have no idea. But
supposedly,
would you want to see another girl group?
Supposedly, SM has a girl group in the making. That's what the rumors are kind of floating around, that they have a girl group in mind already. Yeah. And if that's the case, then I'm kind of looking forward to that, because SM these days has been really focused on their boy groups, namely EXO.
But do you think they'll finally have a Girls' Generation replacement? Because FX and Red Velvet they're kind of replacements of each other, right? So
they're different beasts, right? Like
yeah.
FX was already a different beast from Girls' Generation.
Right. And nowadays, right, the big groups are back in trend. So do you think is that part of the rumor? Like how big the group is? And
I heard it's quite big.
Gotcha. Like
yeah.
Another Girls' Generation.
Maybe.
I mean, I'd be down for that. I mean, I like girls and stuff. I just don't know what songs I want to hear from an SM girl group anymore.
See, yeah, that's the problem with SM.
Know.
They're already so locked into what they're doing. In order to change, I feel like they have to just break it down and then start from the beginning. But knowing SM, they're never just going to break it down.
True chains. All right. Yeah. So I think that's SM. You got that good old stanky C+. Next, we're going to talk about YG. This will probably be shorter because we spent a whole hour, I think, talking about YG's meltdown in one of our past episodes. And so this year, I mean, we have 21 breaking up.
Yes.
We have
Big Bang.
Big Bang leaving soon, but also finally releasing the end of their Maid series. We have the one guy leaving Winner.
Taehyun.
Yeah. We had iKON doing a little bit of stuff.
Not really doing much.
And of course we had Blackpink.
Kind of as the big things, right? Of course there's AKMU and all them others. And
that's true. AKMU did a little bit of stuff.
I guess you can call it stuff.
And so, obviously we're super disappointed by YG this year.
Yeah. I think the only bright spot is Blackpink. And even that is not really like blindingly bright.
Right. Like, even though we love their music, we spent a lot of time talking about how nowadays, not even nowadays, like even in the K-pop scene 5 years ago, it's important to be personalities. That helps a lot. And
you have to like the people.
Yeah. And Blackpink, despite being finally going on variety shows, they were on Running Man, like they still have a lot of work to be done on that side of things. But Blackpink definitely the bright spot in the poo salad of YG's year.
Destruction of YG, basically.
And now they're talking about that 21 is the 3 remaining members of 21.
They're gonna sign elsewhere.
They're
gonna sign with Minzy's. Is that what right?
No.
They're gonna make one more song.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
They're gonna make a goodbye song, and then and while I think that's a cool idea,
I mean, it's like goodbye sex.
Kind of like, it's just weird to have all those announcements first and then being like, hey, we're making it. It's like, make the goodbye song, say we're leaving, and release it immediately. Like, that's the proper good way to end the group.
Yeah, it's like goodbye sex, right? Like the way they're doing it is there's nothing really great about it except that we might have a good song before they leave, I guess.
I was trying to figure out how it was like good. Okay. Because at least the sex is good, but then I don't think the song was going to be good. So
yeah, it's like have a goodbye sex with, the reason why you broke up with your girlfriend is because she got like really fat and really bitchy and really unattractive.
I am 100% not with you on this analogy.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Someone out there will get it. Someone out there. I know one of our listeners will.
I think it's more like you getting a present and then inside is a piece of shit.
Oh, that's pretty harsh.
But No, that's not true. I just think the order, it just shows again how little planning was kind of involved in their decision making. So I think it's no surprise that YG would get a low score. Like for me, I mean, it's gonna get an F. I think YG deserves an F. Maybe a D- if we factor in Blackpink.
I was gonna say D, factoring in Blackpink.
Yeah, but I just
maybe a D- actually. When I think about them losing Big Bang and 21 at once, yeah.
My city doesn't have D's, so it goes C to F.
I see.
So I guess it's kind of the same thing to me. Like they definitely like mismanaged the whole 21 thing. And even though we're not diehard fans of 21, I think it's really obvious to see that they could have, from outside knowledge, they could have figured out a way to handle that much better.
It's a huge blow to YG.
The Made delay, I don't know what that is. And then the fact that those songs came out, and even though I like Fuck It, like it was still kind of like goodbye. You know?
Given all the things that were going on, it really overshadowed the song and the release itself.
Right. The winter stuff I kind of appreciate it because it was a little it was different.
Yeah.
But it didn't particularly click. And then of course Taehyun.
Yeah.
Him leaving, of course, also sucks. And then Icon.
You see, if we had done this kind of report card thing at halfway through the year, I think they would been somewhere around the passing range, right? Like even without Blackpink, but even this past like end of this last few months, I should even say, it's just kind of YG just destroying itself.
Yeah, I don't think I would have ever given them a pass. Like,
because I mean, the Made Big Bang like releasing an album this year was a pretty huge deal, right?
That was last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
Loser was last year, right? Oh my god. Then yeah,
all those songs were last year.
Then maybe it would have been a C- at halfway, maybe even a D+, and now it's like a D-.
Because like at the beginning of the year,
right? Oh, actually, maybe even an F. Then
yeah, like all they had in the beginning with no Blackpink was no Big Bang songs.
Right.
Maybe Winter.
It took a whole year for them to release 2 songs. Is that right?
3 songs, sir. Don't forget.
Sorry.
Don't forget
my girlfriend.
It took more than a year. Yeah.
Wow. God damn. Yeah. Then that's got to be an F for sure for me.
Haha, we got him.
Yeah, it's got to be an F for sure.
But of course, we want to talk about what we want to see, right? And I mean, I am really looking forward to Blackpink still. I mean, Whistle, one of my favorite songs of the year. Playing with Fire, still also a really great song. It worries me though, because they release always 2 songs at once, and one of them is just always terrible.
Crapshoot, yeah.
Even though people love Boombaya, that's a terrible song.
Blackpink in your area.
I don't even know what the other song that released with Playing with Fire was called, but it was like this weird acoustic ballad thing.
Oh God, YG. What?
But I do look forward to that. I do, hopefully, because only TOP is leaving, so hopefully there's going to be maybe more GD solo stuff, or maybe there's more Taeyong solo stuff.
Boy,
that would be interesting.
I am not as optimistic as you are.
I'm trying to be. I don't think any of this will happen at all, but I'm trying to be. 21's leaving, so we can't hope for. Hopefully, CL comes back to Korea and makes another Membung. That would be cool. Probably not going to happen though.
Oh boy. That's all I got to say about YG expectations for 2017.
Icon? Winner?
Oh,
they could come out with some bangers, maybe. Huh? All right, well, sucks to be YG. I got an F or a D-. Maybe I got him to an F.
F.
All right, yeah. The other big company, of course, is going to be JYP.
JYP.
And JYP, of course, this year can be summed up in one word, of course, that is
twice.
Yes. But 2PM did come back a little bit.
GOT7
and of course,
also
GOT7 also did some things. Wonder Girls came out with that one song.
Mm-hmm. Which was very popular.
It's a very popular song. Twice was what? Your number 2, my number 4, whatever the hell. Like, we know Twice is a big thing. You know we love Twice. But fundamentally, game-changing, like, JYP destroyed this year.
I think that's fair to say, yes.
Like, I think it's hard to describe sometimes maybe to people that don't live in Korea, but like Twice
is
was everywhere.
huge. Twice is so large.
And going from 0 to 60, like they went from 0 to 60 in like
A matter of
nothing.
2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Like now they're already completely, everybody knows who they are as an entity. Many people know members, specific members, which despite, I think
They
I made
have
this
9.
comparison last time, but like Red Velvet is very popular here, but they're not that popular as individuals.
Right.
Not as much as like Twice has in 1 year, right?
Just pacing wise.
Right. And also, if you just go by the stock market, I mean, JYP killed it compared to
Murder.
but part of that is also the fact that JYP was struggling for many, many, many years.
Right. But I think that struggle kind of allowed them to rise to the top.
Right. They did the whole breaking it down. I mean, we've mentioned it many times. JYP changed the entire way he runs his company. And since then, everything has been going up. So
it's amazing. I mean, that might be a really big punch to your confidence, right? Like you built a company and then you've made it strong, and then you kind of hit a point where you can't progress any further. But I think JYP should be really given a lot of credit because he himself, lessened himself as everything, as an artist, as a producer, as like a face of the company, and kind of said, okay, in order for this company to go further, I need to take a step back. Right. And that is really, in my opinion, really hard to do.
As the man in charge.
Yeah, he's the man who made the company. He's the name of the company, right?
Like usually they're so like blinded by their own success that they just don't know how to do anything else. Also, it was, again, I think it's maybe obvious to people who are really into K-pop, but Twice, despite making a shit ton of money for JYP and being crazy popular, they are not JYP's main moneymaker.
Which is wild.
JYP's main moneymaker is 2PM.
Has always been, I think, 2PM.
Yeah, and they actually, I forgot to bring up the article, but they make a significant amount of money more than Twice. And that's because GOT7, not GOT, fuck me.
2PM.
2PM, some kind of number was in there. Sorry. 2PM is extremely popular in Japan.
It's ridiculous how popular they are in Japan.
Right. And like they are releasing solo kind of album after solo album in Japan, and
kind of like under the radar.
If you don't know, Japan's money market is leagues more than Korea.
For at least, like music wise.
Yeah, people spend a lot of money on music still. The amount of people who listen to money and spend on albums and stuff is infinitely more than Korea.
I think that's kind of the main contributor, that people in Japan still buy and collect kind of physical albums.
Right. And they pay for everything there.
Right.
And so even though 2PM didn't do that much in Korea, they don't need to. They are focusing on the market that matters, and they're
mark in
killing
Japan. They mark in Japan over there.
Yeah.
But 2PM, I think also a lot of them are going to go to the military soon as well.
Right. So I think in the article it says probably a lot of them will go in 2017. The article that we're kind of outlining our thoughts on. And also, of course, JYP's other group, GOT7. I think of all the things, GOT7 did very well. They, I think, skyrocketed in popularity in 2016.
In Korea.
Right. Because for the longest time, they were very popular internationally, but Koreans didn't give no shits about GOT7.
Kind of like Infinite, I would say. Like Infinite, their fan base is so popular overseas, but in Korea, they've never really been successful as a unit. And I think for GOT7, they kind of were following in that kind of footsteps, of Infinite. But I think what really kind of pushed them over into more popularity was that Jackson was starting to get really, involved in a lot of variety, and that brought a lot of attention to the group itself instead of Jackson, and then they started coming up.
And then I think the bad part about that is another reason they started getting more popular is they started releasing more generic songs, which we didn't like at all.
But Korea likes.
But Korea liked, and they started getting more popularity with like Fly and Hard Carry. And
yes,
I think it's a shame because our favorite songs were when, the quirky, fun differentiators that we liked, but they're definitely a little, in our books, I think if I'm giving the grade, I think GOT7 is pulling the grade down a little bit. Money wise, in the Korean market wise, I think it's a different grade. But for my personal grade, I think GOT7 pulled it down a little bit.
Right. I mean, it's hard to give them a grade based off of like a lot of different factors, right? Because we had a lot of expectations for all these companies before the year started. And if you look at it commercially, you can give them a grade, right? If you look at it in personal taste, we can give them a grade.
Right.
But for me, I think GOT7, if you, like you said, personal grade wise, I think they brought it down.
Yeah. And the last thing kind of is Wonder Girls. They did, the one song, Why So Lonely?
Why So
Lonely. And my brain just fucking exploded. Why So Lonely? I was thinking they just released an article saying it's a rumor, but that the Wonder Girls are going to leave JYP and they're looking for another agency, which is kind of sad. But Why So Lonely? Much better than what was the one last year with the weird funky feel?
I feel you.
Yeah. Way better than I Feel You. So at least in my personal grade, that was a hey, good job.
Yeah, which it's really, really interesting if you kind of look at the whole K-pop landscape. JYP, I think they were always known for being kind of quirky and unique and having a different flavor to themselves. But in 2016, they went, dare I say, very generic. But that genericness kind of shot them to the top.
Right.
And I think Wonder Girls wanting to leave the company is because, JYP has made this company change and it really does not fit the Wonder Girls now. So I would not be surprised to see them leave.
That would suck because, well, I guess maybe, I know they work a lot with making their own music now, but I still think JYP is good at quirky, weird things, so I just can't imagine them not being with JYP.
Yeah.
Like that's like what Girl Generation saying, you know what? Let's leave. Like, or
let's just leave.
Like Big Bang, let's just leave this company that has, been with us. It's like that's kind of poopy.
Mm-hmm.
So what grade would you give JYP?
Ooh, this would be a hard one. I would have to say like B+.
I think I'm there. I might be able to say A just because I honestly
A-. I think I could go as far as A-.
Yeah, A-. B+. I mean, same
B+, A-.
Same difference.
Yeah.
Like I think they, Twice did amazing, and I think it's an understatement how important it is to have a new group do so well.
Yeah, Twice is leading the way in terms of girl groups right now. And just having that by itself kind of merits you already at B.
Right. Like I'm just trying to think like the other, Blackpink is popular-ish, but I don't think they're anywhere close. It's not Wonder Girls, my gosh. SM
Red Velvet
doesn't have a new girl group. I mean, Red Velvet's the newest, but they've been out for years, right?
You see, the thing is, I think that the reason why Twice is so huge is because they capture a lot of the male market. Like all the groups that, more so than the other groups is what I want to say. Like the other groups that we're talking about, Blackpink, Red Velvet, they are very popular in their own right, but I think more so popular with female fans.
I get what you're saying. They're cuter.
Yeah. They have more mass appeal is what I want to say.
Right. Okay. I get what you're saying. I gave a stinky face. I was like, what? But I do think, I mean, I'm trying not to mention IOI, right? But like,
they're kind of a weird.
I think that you're right. Their only rival this year was IOI, and I do think Twice won overall, but like,
it was really close though.
Yeah, for girl groups, it was definitely Twice and IOI, and then G-Friend might be in there.
Yeah, G-Friend
at least a level down
because G-Friend was so quiet towards the half, the end of half, right?
And then Blackpink might be there somewhere too, but I would definitely give like I honestly I can't think like, of course there's a better scenario of like, oh they Twice came out, and then a guy version of Twice came out, and JYP, every single song was amazing, but I don't think that's particularly realistic.
No.
So I think this is the best year that a company could even hope for. So, but to be safe, for future podcasts, I'll go B minus. I'll go B minus.
B minus.
Yeah, I don't want to, because maybe there's a world where
how do you go from A minus to B minus?
Oh wait, what did I say? B minus?
Yeah, you said B minus.
I'm sorry, I meant B plus.
Okay, I was a little bit confused.
My B, yeah.
I was like, I said SM was a B minus almost.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, B plus.
B plus.
Like a B plus plus. Like, I don't want to say A just in case there's a year where somebody really, really knocks it out of the park and gets an A, but I'll go B plus.
I think there's kind of a disconnect here. So for you in your area, is a B plus the same as an A minus? Because for us, like where I'm from, we have a very distinct kind of grade. Like we have F, then D minus, D plus, C minus, C plus, like that.
Like in high school. Or are you talking about college?
Both.
So in college, I think it's changed now. But when I was in college, it was like you get a certain point, right?
Yeah, college is different.
Like but it wasn't like an A. When I was in college, like if you got a 79, it was the same as you getting a 71. You got the same GPA points. But nowadays, I think they changed it to like 71 to 73 is something, and 74 to 76 is something. And in high school, it was the same. If you get a 71, it's the same GPA points as a 79. Nice. Like a B is a B, an A is an A, a C is a C. But they might have changed that.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense because I'm grading it like as B plus, A minus being two different things, and B plus being much or not much better, but a lot better than B minus.
Right. I just misspoke on that part, but okay. I do think that like it goes A, then down is A minus, and then B plus is right after, but they are different things.
Okay. So B plus.
An 89.
I'm gonna have to say.
If we're gonna use numbers, I'll give them an 89.
For me, I'm gonna have to say an A minus.
Okay.
Like a 91.
It's weird that we flip-flopped. The only reason I don't want to say 90 is just because maybe in 2020, there's going to be some bang out. Every song was the most amazing song we ever heard. And we're like, A.
Well, the reason why I kind of flip-flopped and I went from B plus to an A minus is because when you mentioned IOI, IOI was such a huge force and it was such a huge chunk of the market that it just amazes me that Twice was able to compete with them. So like
having two big girl groups at once is pretty hard.
And they were promoting essentially at the same time. They're going head to head, and Twice was still kind of holding their own. So for that, I would say A minus.
Okay.
Yeah.
My heart says A minus, but I'm like afraid
your
of the
caution
future.
says
my
B
caution
plus.
is like B plus.
Your optimism says B plus.
Yeah.
As weird as that is, right?
So we didn't really talk about what we want to see next year for JYP. I mean, obviously we want Twice to keep on wrecking it.
Yes, please.
But, the probabilities is not in their favor of songs still being
That's
decent,
every group. That's every
right?
group, right?
Yeah. So, what are they going to do? Like, are they going to AOA and be like, yo, we made 3 amazing songs with Brave Sound. Let's try something different, y'all.
Let's relax. Let's take our foot off the pedal and whatever.
And now, guess what? AOA, not remotely as popular as they used to be. I mean, their new songs just came out. They charted really not good.
Really not good.
I actually haven't heard the songs. So I've been too scared.
Me too.
And then before you're like, well, they just weren't good songs. Like, bad songs chart well all the time because they come from a brand.
Because
name,
the groups, I think the problem with AOA is that they focus too much on the individuals right when they got popular. Instead of like spreading that popularity amongst the members, they kind of just poured it all into Sohyun.
Well, you say that, but every girl group used to do that.
Right.
I think that's what makes Twice so special. Well, not special. I shouldn't say special because this happens for a lot of things, but that's what makes Twice so popular is because
what sets them apart right now.
There are multiple people that can be funneled.
That can carry the load, right?
No, they're carrying some loads.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So the last it's not at one company, but I did want to kind of give an overall grade to the smaller companies, right? The non-big 3 companies. And this year we saw, of course, GFriend do very well. We saw BTS do very, very well.
17.
We saw 17 do
rising in
decently
popularity.
well.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of other. Mamamoo
Mhm.
did very, very well.
Right.
And I actually think that the smaller companies, if anything, they're the ones knocking it out of the fucking park.
Mhm. They're the
this year.
ones really progressing K-pop, I think.
Right. Like, G-Friend has been called before like the diamond in the rough. Like it's insane how such a popular group could have come from such a tiny, tiny company. And I think BTS is another example of kind of that experience. Mamamoo, again, another example. Like Mamamoo is insanely popular now. Everybody
Mhm.
knows Mamamoo's name
Mhm.
now. Everyone knows BTS's name. Everyone knows G-Friend's name. Although I think G-Friend is a little less than
Because
the others.
G-Friend they haven't been as active as they were before.
Right. Like Mamamoo released like 6 songs this year. Like they were fucking
Ridiculous. They
going
were
hard.
fucking busy. They were
BTS
busy.
also, like I don't know if they ever sleep.
They never sleep. Those dudes never sleep.
Yeah.
If they're not doing group stuff, they're doing solo stuff. That's what they're always doing.
Yeah. So I think the small companies, like again, it's kind of an esoteric. It's like we're not giving it to one thing,
Mm.
but like I do think they should get like a B.
I want to say
plus.
B. I want to say B
B.
plus.
No, I can't tie them. Sorry, I can't tie them with JYP. So if I went with B plus for JYP, they're gonna be a B to B minus.
They're kind of in that like 85, 86 point range for me.
Because even though G-Friend has been doing a lot better, sorry, not G-Friend. Sorry, G-Friend has been doing a lot better. I wasn't really that into BTS's releases this year.
Mm.
I find that their quality is going down
Slightly.
like Fire, and then Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I thought Blood, Sweat, and Tears really wasn't that good. Despite a lot of people really liking that, but the fact that song really didn't show up in a lot of people's lists, I think
It showed up in a
to
few. It showed up in a few, but
me.
not
Same
as
with
much as
EXO
you
too,
think.
by the way. EXO's Monster really didn't show up on a lot of people's lists.
Mm.
Like Mamamoo also. Like we talked about Mamamoo a lot. Like they didn't even make our top 10. They made your honorable mentions,
Mm.
but despite releasing 5 songs or 6 songs, they got moonbilled. You got to have the moonbill penalty. You know?
It was really a problem of quantity over quality with Mamamoo, I think.
Right. So I think in generalities, it's been a good year for smaller companies, right? But if we were to go deep dive into some of these companies, maybe the grade would be a little bit lower.
But it's always really dangerous, I think, with the smaller companies because not to disparage anything that G-Friend has done, but we have seen a group rise to kind of this superstardom and then fizzle out. Recently in a group called EXID, they had that one song that arguably was a fluke, and even though it was a good song, right? Up and Down is a good song. Me and Steven love
Amazing
that song.
It was on our top 10, I think.
Yeah, the reason why it got so popular it was because of a fan cam of Honey being super sexy, and then people were like, "Yo, EXID," and arguably G-Friend got popular because of that one video of them, falling down a whole bunch of times and getting up and then dancing and kind of like try hard attitude. So I really like G-Friend, but if they don't put out good songs, or if they don't really kind of do something that is really mass appealy, then they could be in trouble as well in terms of like the EXID kind of way, because I see a lot of similarities in the two groups. EXID, they had that one good song and everybody liked it, and they kind of put out songs after it that were pretty much the same type of song, or at least the same type of feel. And then they were progressively a little bit worse, and then people kind of were like, all right, we're done with EXID. And G-Friend kind of has that problem. They have a very specific sound to them, and if they keep progressing this way, then we might see some interesting things, and not in a good way.
Yeah, I get where your fear is coming from. I do think though that G-Friend has a lot more going for them than EXID, because G-Friend is younger. And it appeals to, I think, a wide...
More mass appeal.
Yeah, more mass appeal, because EXID focused very heavily on sexy.
Sexiness, yeah.
Also, G-Friend has their I don't want... Well, they're better dancers, right? So they have the whole dancing thing going for them that also helps with their appeal.
Also better singers.
And I also think that their songs since... What was the following one? Rough? Or is the following one Me Gustas too?
The most. What do you mean following?
The video of that G-Friend of them falling.
Oh,
that you're
which
talking
song?
about.
Which song were they
Yeah.
performing? I want to say it was. It was kind of like around where they debuted. It was like their second song, maybe not Glass Speed, but
Then Me Gustas too.
probably Me Gustas too.
The only reason, so I just think that since Me Gustas too, Rough and Naviera are much, much, much better quality songs than the XID ones. Like, Hot Pink. Like, those songs were just not as good, I think, as Up and Down. While I think the G-Friend songs have been good. Like, Rough has been good. Naviera has been good. So I think I'm not as afraid of that EXID fall. Because G-Friend was much more popular before that fan cam than EXID was. Like, EXID was like nothing.
Nothing, right?
G-Friend was actually kind of popular, so
Decently
I'm not
popular.
I'm not that afraid of what you're saying, but I get why you would think why you would be afraid. It's like anytime a group
Just shoots
up out of nowhere, right? Like
Right.
Crayon Pop is another example. Crayon Pop
Right.
is nothing now.
Yeah.
But they were gigantic for that 1 year, you know?
They didn't even have like an Hot Pink or Naviera.
Yeah, what have
Right.
they done?
They've done nothing.
They had FM.
I don't even remember what
One
that
of
song
them's
sounds like.
getting married to that dude who still is not out of the 90s. There was one other thing. Oh yeah. The other small companies is we should include, I think, IOI. I think IOI counts, right, as a small-ish company. So multiple small companies formed into a super company. With I know JYP's in there a little bit.
Voltron-ish.
Yeah. Like JYP made the head, but the rest of the body was small companies, you know?
The rest, like the Rocket Arm was like, Pleatus Girls, whatever.
Yeah, and the Goo Goo Dolls girls, or whatever.
The Goo Goo Dolls girls were like the right leg, just kind of
You know,
there.
I really wish they kept the name Pleatus Girls, but I think they released the name that they're
No,
going with.
Change it.
Yeah, I think their real name is. Shoot, I just read it a couple hours ago. It was like Pristine. I think it's Pristine,
It's not good.
but spelled Pristin or something like that. And like instead of it being pristine, like the word pristine, they explained it like Pris is something and Steen is something, two different somethings, and it was just all around terrible. But then I read a lot of Reddit comments that was like, "Oh man, name blah." I'm like there's so many better names out there, and I'm like, "Yo,
At least-
all names are fucking dumb."
At least it's not AIDS.
At least
This is not
it's not
AIDS.
But like all names are terrible. Like Red Velvet is a fucking terrible name. All names are terrible. It's just whether or not you get used to them or not, right? So if you're gonna go with Pleatus Girls, in my head, I'm already used to that. Just all names are dumb. Just keep it Pleatus Girls. But like we have the Wonder Girls. It's okay to be something girls. We have Cosmic Girls. We also have Cosmic Girl. There's nothing wrong with being blank girls.
Or
Just keep
Girls' Generation. Or
or Girls with a
Boys-
Z.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever though.
Anyways, I thought it could be a separate section, but I do want to talk about IOI because if actually it's an award that I wanted to talk about. Let's save it for the awards.
Okay.
All right. So before we get to the awards, I want to read some of the lists
Let's do that.
that our Slack chingus have left us that we didn't have enough time for. By the way, we thought this was going to be a super fast podcast. It's already like an hour.
I told you it won't be.
Here we go. So I want to read one. This is from Take That X2.
Take that.
And there is no ordering here, so I think it might be not in order. I'm not quite sure.
We'll just read it.
We'll just read it. So this is the top 10 for 2016. We have Twice, 1 to 10, Twice with TT, Red Velvet's Russian Roulette, J Park's Me Like Ya, Hyorin's Love Like This, IOI Fingertips, EXO's Monster, speaking of EXO, Lehi's Breathe, Mamamoo's Woohoo, and Lehigh featuring Skullface, aka Bobby,
I like that you wrote. Oh, that's great.
with video.
I like that you wrote Skullface.
Yes.
And also, I really like your list. I think Twice 1 to 10 is a really good song.
I think Twice 1 to 10 is one of the greatest first.
B-sides.
No. That's too far. The greatest first 10 seconds of a song I've ever heard.
Okay.
Because it has like that best of Brave Sound boopity boops.
I know.
Yeah. Amazing. And then they never capitalize on that ever again. It devolves into a generic ass B-side song. Anyways, Next one.
So the next one is by Steph. I'll read it from 10 to 1. April's Tinkerbell, Exo Monster, 410 Go Easy / Tornado, number 7 Blackpink's Boombaya, Stay Play with Fire Whistle. That's what it was called. It was called Stay.
Like Stay Away. I never want to hear you again.
Number 6 is FT Island, Take Me Now. 5 IOI, 24 Hours, Dream Girls, Crush, Very, 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 and What a Man.
I've never heard this Dreamgirl song. I don't know what that is.
Maybe we should go listen to it, or maybe we should not.
No.
Number 4, Twice TT. Number 3, Infinite's The Eye and Air. Number 2, BAP, Do What I Feel. That's my jam. Fly High, Everything Else Too. Apparently you're a BAP fan. Number 1, BTS, Everything, she says. That's Wings, Young Forever. August D, Young covers.
I remember August T because he's like A-U-G-U. Or what is he? He's like A-U-G-U-S-T-D. And I thought that was hilarious.
And we were like, STD?
Yeah, like that's not a smart move, bro.
No.
But anyways, thank you, Steph, for your list.
It's not. It's just like it's not smart naming your fan group AIDS.
That's true. Oh, man, I forgot 410 existed. Damn, Major number 8. Pretty cool. The next list is by JF Joseph. And he, starting from 10, we have Twice as TT. Oh, no. Number 9, Zico featuring Crush and Dean's Bermuda Triangle. Number 8, EXO's Cloud 9.
Ooh, spicy.
Number 7, Day 6, Letting Go. Number 6, Shiny's Feel Good. Number 5, Actong Musicians Jumbyonin Around. Or is it just around in English? I don't fucking know. Help me out here, Josh.
Yeah. I mean, well, Jumbyonin is like the people around you.
So it doesn't translate to around. Okay.
But I mean, around is good enough.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
I think it's the same song.
Do you think the song's called Jumbyonin Around or is just called Jumbyon?
I think it's called Jumbyonin.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph. Making it easy on me. Why am I the one reading this one? Number 4, J Park and Ugly Duck. Ain't no party like an AOMG party.
Because the AOMG party don't stop. Right. Sorry. Whenever I hear that, I just have to.
Number 3, NCTU's 7 Cents. Number 2, Ladies Code's Galaxy. And number 1, BTS's Fire.
Spicy.
Which, by the way, it was also on Reddit, but there's like a website. You know The Office? They do a lot of that, like staring into the camera, making an awkward face.
Or mainly Jim does it on The Office.
Right. But it's called like, I forgot what it's called. I really should. It's called like an emotion generator. I bet if you search Office's emotion generator, you'll find it. But it's a website where you just type in any emotion and it'll link you clips from the show where people stare into the camera with that emotion. So you can do like, you can just look up sad and it'll show like 2 to 3 second clips of all just sad clips from The Office. Or you can type in horny, you can type in disturbed, you can type in any emotion and it'll find at least 1 to 20 clips of it. And it's hilarious.
So somebody just went through the time.
Yeah. Somebody not only went through and watched everything and clipped all of the stare into the cameras. They also had to code a website, quantify which emotion was each clip, make it searchable for your pleasure.
That's dedication.
Yep. All right.
So the next list is from Link77. Number 10 is GOT7's Fly. Number 9, Yezi, The Moon / Se. That's an interesting one. Number 8, Twice's TT / Cheer Up. Number 7, BY and C Jam's Puzzle. And Who You... Oh, no, that's BY with Simon Demonic, Gray, 1, G2BY, Who You. 6, Kitty B's Doing Good. Number 5, Hayes / Dean, Shut Up and Groove. Number 4, 17's Very Nice. Number 3, Mamamoo, 1 centimeter / You're the Best. Number 2, AOA / AOA Cream, Good Luck, and I'm Jelly Baby. Number 1, BTS, Save Me / Blood, Sweat, Tears. Interesting list.
Is it Simon Demonic or Simon Dominic?
Well, he says Simon Dominic. So I say Dominic because it sounds like a name.
Okay, because you said
Simon
Dominic. No, you said demonic.
I said,
no, you said demonic. You said demonic. I was confused. I was like, is that how he says it? I didn't know if
It's because the stupid song, man.
But he doesn't say demonic in that song. Right?
He says Dominic. Yeah, because I got caught in the middle and saying what I want to say, and I listened to that stupid song in my brain.
You know what? Which is a better name? Simon Dominic or Simon Demonic? which is a better rap name.
Simon Demonic sounds better.
Yeah, me too. You should change it, Simon.
Well,
I know you're listening to this.
I mean, everyone just calls him Samdi, so.
But it could be Sam Demonic. Come on. No, it doesn't really work. It doesn't really work in Korean. All right. I think that's 4. We'll read the rest later. Let's just skip through this a bit. We want to do a little bit of a rest in peace for the groups that disbanded this year. And this is according to a Wikipedia page, so I don't know if it's right or not. But of course, the big names ones, we have 21.
4 Minute.
4 Minute, peace out. Rainbow. See you next time.
Kara. All right.
Peace out, girls. And then there's some smaller ones. We have 4L, BTL,
We don't know damn.
GI,
I know LC9.
LC9,
Right.
Lead Apple,
Speed.
Nom. I don't know who that is. Sunny Days.
That's pretty much
the
pretty much
Sia?
all.
That's like an old ass group.
Yeah.
But of course, the big ones are 21, 4 Minute, Kara, and Rainbow. Maybe not Rainbow.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But at least we'll get one more 21 song, Sans Minzy, but at least we'll get one. And also, of course, there's some debut groups. And I do want to ask you, if you could cut out IOI, what is the best debut group this year?
Not including subunits.
Not including subunits. A brand new group. So, for example, we have, Blackpink, Astro, Cosmic Girls, Card, Momoland, Pentagon, V-Romance,
Viction.
Viction.
I'm gonna have to say Blackpink without a doubt.
Okay. Yeah, me too. Oh, I when I said Sans IOI, I forgot Blackpink existed. How about no Blackpink?
No Blackpink, no IOI.
So we'll say IOI is number 1, obviously. Best debut. Blackpink number 2.
Oh.
I'm just trying to get you to say Cosmic Girls on record.
I don't want to say Cosmic Girls. I don't wanna.
How about Goo Goo Dolls?
I don't wanna. I'd rather say Cosmic Girls than Goo Goo Dolls.
True Chains.
And I would say Card before any of those.
Yeah, okay. I'd go with Card too.
Yeah, because they're so
although
V-Romance
V-Romance
though, they put out some good songs, but Card is just so interesting.
True enough.
Yeah.
How about Mob, right?
Huh?
Right?
Huh?
Some unit.
Huh?
Okay, that's very quick on that. The last thing we have is just some awards. I'm not sure quite how much thought we've put into this.
None.
It probably wasn't
None
much.
on my part. None.
So the first one is Best Thing of the Year. And it's super generic.
So vague.
Because I already knew what my answer was. And so I'm going to tell you.
No. Tell me what your answer is so I can think about.
My best thing of the year was Produce 101.
Okay, I can agree with that.
100%.
That Produce 101 was one of the things that kind of brought us back into K-pop. Well, K-pop in a sense of us liking the people. We got really invested in the people of Produce, right? Like, I remember you saying when we were watching the show, we hated Pick Me. It was like, it made my ears
previous
bleed.
to watching the show.
Yeah. And then, because we heard the song before we started watching the show, I think. And then once we started watching the show, we're like, yo, pick me. You know,
also
like,
surprisingly harder to sing than you would think, right? Surprisingly hard,
And it just goes to show how, even for guys like us, we're very K-pop jaded, I think. Liking the people can really do miracles for liking a song.
But for the record, it's not like we put Pick Me as fucking top 10.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
We didn't really change our thoughts, I think, on a song because we love them. Because that's what you're kind of saying. You're saying that
at least
because we fell in love. I
me,
legitimately think that, like, I think it's subconscious. Like, well, that's not true.
I think me liking and being so invested in Produce 101 made me like that song tons more. Like tons more. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself here, but for me, that's definitely true.
So then do you think you wouldn't like Fingertips or...
Ooh, see, that's hard to say.
Because Crush or any of those songs if you didn't watch the show?
See, that's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to totally divorce my feelings for a group, right? Like it would be very, I think, disingenuous of me to say like, oh, all the songs I picked from my top 10 are totally based off how much I like the song and not the group, right? Because if you look at my list, it's majority girl groups, right?
Right.
So I think I would, even though I'm not 100% sure, I think even if I wasn't so in kind of into Produce 101, I still think Fingertips would at least be in my top 3. It's just such a good song.
Okay. It's just I've always been very defensive is probably the right word when people are like about that specific part of K-pop, right? Which is like you only like it because you like the group, like God knows how many times we get angry at the general fandom when they like things that are just
but to be fair, it happens a lot, but there's an equal amount of times where it doesn't happen, right? At least for us, I think.
Like I think for me, anyways, I think you too. Like, Pick Me. When's the last time you were like, "Yo, I want to listen to Pick Me"? Like, I think you
very true.
You went from hearing Pick Me once and never hearing it again. Like, if you didn't watch Produce, you would have been like, "I heard this song, it sucks. I'm never gonna listen to it again."
Yeah,
and it made you listen to it more because it was in the show. But I don't think you ever were like, "Yo, man, I'm really in the mood for Pick Me." I don't think that was ever the case for you. So like, I really don't think I think it forced you to listen to it more, but I don't think you really like the song much more now than
maybe it's an issue of Stockholm syndrome rather than just me liking Produce is what you're kind of going after. Like, because I've listened to it so much that I've gone from hating it to standable.
It. Yeah.
Okay.
And like
I think I can go for that. I'm not really sure which one it is.
Yeah. Either way, I want to talk about Produce, which is just an incredibly branching thing because it's not just the show, right? The show is one thing and the show is amazing. It also, of course, led to IOI, which for me, I liked IOI more than twice this year. But not only IOI, then it also splinters off into the future of like Pledis Girls and Goo Goo Don and all the other groups that will splinter off from this, right? Whatever Somi does, right? Whatever
the catalyst
Chungha does, right? Like, Twice is great and everything, right? But IOI or the Produce web of hype and excitement and being interested is just so far reaching. There is nothing, I think, that is anywhere close to being second.
I think I will sum it up like this. Produce 101, as much as Steven and I have been harping on how one member of a group can kind of carry the group, right, in terms of mass appeal and likability, Produce 101, in my eyes, was basically we are making that, but a group filled of that, right? Like, we're making a group filled, I mean, it's not the same level, but we're making a group filled with Sohyuns. We're making a group filled of Hyunas. And I think the fact that they could pull that off was freaking amazing. Because where can you really find a group, especially like a 9-member group, where pretty much everybody knows all the members? Like the general masses, I want to say, know all the members. Like Produce 101 made that possible. And that is amazing.
And then now it's over.
Yeah.
Which is also crazy.
Which is foolish, but I understand because of the logistics.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I really do think if IOI stayed together, they probably would still be relevant 3 years from now. But after they splinter off, like, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know if any of those groups will be relevant in 3 years. Right.
Yeah. It's like taking a group of 9 Hyanas, right, and then just making a whole bunch of 4 minutes out of it.
That's not a great comparison because 4 Minute did really well.
Okay, I mean, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm kind of saying in terms, not in terms of like, because, Goo Goo Don and Police Girls, they could make good songs too. We don't know that.
Right, but we have heard some of their offerings. We've heard some Daya offerings and Goo Goo Don offerings. And
what, you're not about that Cosmic Girl secret? I'm all about that Cosmic Girl. You're not about that Goo Goo Dog song I don't remember the title of. I don't remember
Wonderland.
the title. Is it called Wonderland?
I don't know.
Sing it for me.
All I hear is, "This is how we waste Queen Sejong. This is how we waste God Sejong."
Yeah, and Mina was in that too, right?
She was in that, yeah. And of course, the everlasting discussion of what the fuck is JYP going to do with Somi? That conversation
very
came up again in our Slack recently, and you guys know my thought. Like, I think we've had this discussion, right? Like, I think she should be in Twice, as opposed to if the alternative is to wait a year and debut with a new group. I would rather have her in Twice, but I know.
See, for me, I flip flop all the time. One day I wake up and I think, oh yeah, Somi would totally fit in Twice. She was with them and is 16 and she probably practices with them and keeps in contact with them. It should be no problem. And then some days I wake up and I'm like, no, it would destroy the chemistry.
Like I think for Somi, for her personal like guarantee of future assurances, she should be in Twice because she's already popular in her own right, and Twice is very popular in their own right. Twice is going to be around 5 years from now. But if you put Somi in a who the fuck knows future group, especially, I'm sure she's going to do a lot of variety things while she's waiting, but like, I think there's a lot of risk in putting her into another girl group.
Yeah.
For her personal well-being. But I mean, I get Somi will probably be fine regardless either way.
It's like, I think of it. Okay, I'm going on a tangent now, just warning you.
This whole episode is a tangent.
I think of it like the NBA. I don't know how many people watch the NBA, but the NBA now, in this day and age, there are a lot of super teams where basically the best players
like
are kind of
Warriors.
Like the Warriors. That's a kind of the example I want to use.
Like SK Telecom. Oh, wait. That's not basketball.
I mean, but it in competitive sports, kind of super teams are now the trend. And adding Somi to Twice would be essentially like having a super team, right? Like having an all-star team. And having an all-star team and putting another kind of strong player in that group always has the same kind of group dynamic, right?
Right.
Like they're already so popular, they're already so strong by themselves. When you add them together, there could be like chemistry issues, there could be like spotlight issues.
Right. And as a company, like JYP himself is like, if you put Somi in a new group, that new group all of a sudden gains a much more credit because people will tune into that group for Somi, right? I think as a company, it makes more sense to put her in a future group, right? Because it's like you don't need any more coverage on Twice. You already got that shit locked down, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I still, in my heart of hearts, right? Like if Somi was older at that time, she would have been in Twice, right? And she's old enough now.
Because that was JYP's reasoning for not including her, right?
And she was really young. I mean, she's really young
She
now.
was like 14 at the time, 14, 15 at the time. And she's like even just only 15, 16 now. So
punch those dicks, Josh. You know what? That's another great category. The punch your own dick category.
I think we have only two kind of candidates in the punch your dick category.
Tsui
and Somi.
Who wins that?
No. And those girls from, well, not really the same level, but
Luna. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Luna and CLC.
Speaking of a name that I completely
CLC's
forgot
got a lot of
existed.
cuties in them, and they're all underage.
You said
Just saying that.
You said that like you have a list, and you're like, yeah,
All I remember.
That's the group with the cuties that are underage group. Gotcha.
All I remember was like, yo, these girls look young. I want to see how young. And I was just like, nope, this group is gone from my memory forever.
Well, you seem to have categorized CLC as
just like brains at myself.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know what? Let's not have this discussion on which underage girl is better.
Let's not have that discussion.
Best thing of the year, Produce 101. How about biggest surprise of the year?
Biggest surprise.
Was there any surprises you're like, ooh, I didn't know that happened, or ooh?
I think the biggest surprise for me would be YG's implosion and how quickly it happened. How, in all kind of manners of it just falling apart. Like 21.
Was it really quick though? I mean, like we could see all the pieces coming together for years now though.
Yeah, but I would never imagine that 21 would break up the way they did. I would kind of expect more of a Wonder Girls, the Girls' Generation kind of breakup, where they kind of just faded into the background. But they were like, nope, 21's done. Oh, and by the way, Big Bang, they're gonna go, and we lost this guy from Winter. Like everything for YG
did fade into obscurity. They haven't released anything for 2 years.
No. I'm not saying 21's the biggest surprise. I'm saying YG's implosion is the biggest surprise.
Okay.
How about you, Steven? What would you say is the biggest surprise?
I'm thinking.
Processing.
I also think the YG thing is like biggest. Everybody saw it coming, and then everybody saw that iceberg coming, and nobody tried to steer away from it award, if that was an award.
Because we're gonna ram it in a fucking iceberg award.
Yeah. Despite me writing this, I actually don't really know. I mean, if I can say IY or Produce 101 again, I would, but I'm not.
But hold on. What do you think is so surprising about Produce 101? That it worked?
Because we watched a lot of Mnet shows before, and like Show Me the Money, and yeah, those artists have been popular, but I've never related to any of them. Their shows have been really cheesy, not great. Even the Twice one, we tried to go back and watch, and I thought it was 16? Not great.
Oh, it was terrible.
Despite Twice being amazing, right?
And despite me loving Twice, I could not go back and watch it.
But like, I was really surprised as to the quality of that show and how much it made me care about these people and how well done kind of it's showing how they practiced and doing this. And it wasn't about like fake chemistry and challenges. It was like, yo, girls, work or die, you know?
How is that a surprise though?
Because I didn't expect that. Did you expect that at all from an Mnet show about 101 girls? I remember very clearly when we heard that idea, we were like, this is a fucking train wreck waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was really surprised at how
well it turned out.
How well it all turned out. And how popular they became. Like, I think I can get behind that. While, like, I think the YG thing is like 2 years ago, we were saying like, iceberg's coming. I think the surprising thing is, I get what you're saying. The surprising thing is that all happened at once. Yeah, that's right. Not that it happened. Yeah, I'm not saying that it happened, because I kind of had this vision for YG as in like, you know, they're one of their tires would like pop, right? Like if they're a car, then that kind of like start flopping around. But kind of the way I saw YG implode is like the engine just blew up and killed everybody. We knew it was an old car and about to like, you know, stop running and everything. But the way I kind of imagined it was like, okay, the windshield wipers stop working, and then like, you know, yeah, you thought it'd be a slow descent, into just like just not working. But it was just kind of like all four wheels just came off at once. Okay, when you phrase it like that, it makes more sense, right? It's not how sudden, quick, and decisive the downfall was. I'm trying to think what would be if I couldn't include Produce. What would be the biggest surprise? Honestly, I was really surprised. Again, we probably should have thought of this before. See, because the problem is, for you and I, following K-pop for so many years now, like, it's almost been like a decade. Nothing surprises us. Yeah, nothing really surprises us anymore. Like, even this YG thing, I bet so many people were like, whoa, I didn't see this coming. And you and I were like, back in 2015, we're like, YG's better do something or else they're going to fucking blow up. And exactly what happened, right? Because we were saying, back in our 2016 recap maybe, we were saying like, yo, YG this year, they got to change some things up, stop relying so much on Big Bang and 21, because those guys are kind of like starting to go out the door. And then I hate to say we told you so, but like we kind of saw this coming, right? So that right. For a lot of people, saw that coming. For a lot of people, it was, you say everybody, but I don't think everybody actually did see it coming. I think a lot of people were like, no, I never thought my queens would, you know, like. I mean, maybe I just read too much Reddit, and everyone on Reddit always knows what is going on according to themselves. Yeah, I really can't think of anything more surprising. Because honestly, like this year, I just really didn't have anything surprising. Like if anything, we were lowering our expectations this year, and still a lot of groups didn't even meet that. You know, like. Okay, so let's move on to the next saddest surprise. Maybe. Let's move on to the next kind of category or award that we want to give out, and this is a bad award. This award is for the most disappointing group. Again, I wrote this award, but I still didn't really know what to think. Do you have an idea, Josh? So this one is kind of hard, right? Because this is real life discussion. Because disappointing, you kind of need to have expectations for them to let them down. True. Correct. And right, like Cosmic Girls, not disappointing because I don't get no fuck. And coming into this year, 2016, I'm saying there wasn't a lot of expectations, to be honest. You didn't have any expectations. Well, I had expectations, of course, but a lot of those expectations
a lot of those expectations I had, they kind of came through.
True. Like if
Like-
Twice shit the bed, we would definitely would have been Twice.
right?
But
Like
they did.
G-Friend also did not shit the bed. A lot of groups that I think were like, yo, I think they'll be all right. And they kind of delivered, and for the most part, or at least they weren't so disappointing. Like even Red Velvet wasn't, super disappointing compared to how much expectation I placed on them, right? So most disappointing group.
You know what? I'm gonna go with AOA.
I
They
was gonna
still
say that.
every release,
I was gonna say that.
like
AOA.
despite my expectations going down, they still. By the way, I haven't listened to the new songs yet, because I'm deathly scared.
For me, it's a tie.
But I've also heard they're not good. But
Mhm.
like, I still expect things from AOA. I still expect a great.
It's because Brave
a
Sound.
great banger.
'Cause
And also,
Brave
yeah,
Sound,
this time Brave Sound was also going to come back. And it's just like Good Luck was bad.
It was hot garbage. Okay, so before,
But
because
AOA Cream though
yeah,
was good.
yeah. So AOA, they're for me they're kind of off limits because I haven't heard their new songs, and for me that still counts as 2016. So
Why does that count as this? They came out in 2017.
I think they came out like New Year's Eve or something. But anyways, AOA, yes, that's one candidate, but the other candidate I have is Mamamoo.
Yeah.
In terms of how much I was expecting and how much I
Mm.
got out, Mamamoo was going to be in there. Unfortunately,
which one am I more disappointed in?
yeah, right. It's because
Hmm.
you're not tracking like which group is worse, right? You're tracking which group had the most change from what you were. What's the difference between what you were expecting and what you got?
But the thing is, despite me not liking like New York or Dalcomani, I think Good Luck is worse than that.
Good Luck is definitely worse than that. But were you expecting more out of AOA, or were you expecting more out of Mamamoo?
But see, Mamamoo, despite us really liking their early stuff, they haven't then not like I wasn't expecting amazing stuff from Mamamoo at the end of if we're just talking about this year. I think if you go back to last year, I was expecting more from Mamamoo, and I mean, if you just cut out Moonbyul, some of those were pretty good.
It's very hard, but I think.
Like Mamamoo is still in the top 25 to me, top 15 maybe.
But assuming, okay, so if I'm assuming that the new AOA songs are hot trash, then I'm gonna have to say AOA.
It still is. Why would they not? Why would those new songs be considered? Even we consider 2016 up until when we record the podcast anyway.
You're
so
right,
like,
you're
why
right, you're
why
right.
would you include that? That's weird to me.
I don't know, but it's just I can't really cut it off at like very distinct times, but I wanted I don't know. AOA and Mamamoo kind of tied for me.
Okay, I mean, I can see the argument either way. I just being semantic. That's a weird.
That's fine.
That's a weird line to draw. That
Well, I'm more of the kind of wishy-washy type. Well, not wishy-washy, but I'm more kind of I don't really care about anything like that.
your
Sorry.
morals are fluid.
Yeah, my morals are fluid.
Like your dick that you want to punch, right?
Yeah, it's got to be.
I'm trying to look up what day the AOA songs came out. January 1st. I don't know if that's January 1st Korean time or January 1st American time, but that's 2017 right there.
Because I remember seeing it on Melon. It was on December 31st.
Was it past midnight?
It wasn't.
No, because we recorded on January 1st and
Those songs I think came out that time.
I don't think it came out before that. Josh, it doesn't matter because
It doesn't matter
we
anyway.
still cut off the time according to our podcast year. That's why you let me put in Hyorin and all that junk from December.
Okay, fine.
Anyways, after show.
Anyway,
The next category is going to be most improved.
this one is hard because you can't say twice.
You
Right.
can't say twice,
You
no,
can't say twice.
because Like Who Are is still the best song.
It's like twice were already so good, and then they maintained their goodness, right? Just like most disappointing is who did you have really high expectations for and they did not meet up? Which group? This is basically the opposite of that, right? Which group did you not have very high expectations for and kind of really surprised you?
Well, it could have been high expectations. They just did even better.
This is the difference, but the other way.
Right, but it can't be a new group because
No.
right, you can't be most improved if you just came out.
If
right?
you have like one song and you weren't expecting anything, right? But this is really interesting.
Brave Girls?
Just going through this list.
J Park? No.
No, because he's been consistent, I think.
Got 7? No. Red Velvet? No. BAP? No.
This is hard.
Yeah, I don't know. Taeyeon?
I would have to
Taeyeon. I'm going to go with Taeyeon.
I would have to say Taeyeon is a good one. But
She definitely surprised me, I think.
for me, you see, I wasn't as surprised because I knew that she was going to do solos, and I knew that there was going to be songs that I liked of hers.
But it surprised me how much I liked them. So I'm taking Taeyeon.
For you, Taeyeon.
You can choose.
I'm going to have to say Blackpink.
But Blackpink debuted this year. You can't pick somebody who.
But they've released a lot of songs.
What? How could they be most improved?
Okay, so they can't have debuted this year. They can't have debuted last year.
No, they can debut last year. They can't.
Okay.
What's happening right now? Wait, I mean, okay, they can be most improved if you like
Most improved
Playing
in the
with
last
Fire
year.
more than Whistle and Boombaya. But I think you like Whistle more than Playing with Fire, so that
like
don't make no
Whistle
sense.
more. Okay. It's a hard one.
Most disappointing. I changed my answer. Most disappointing. Big Bang. We waited a year and a half for these last 3 songs, and even though Fuck It was
It's
a
pretty
decent
good
song,
Pretty good song.
to end with that kind of bang, it was like a teeny bang.
Yo, maybe Big Bang. Yo, you're right about most disappointing.
No, I changed my answer. 17. I changed it again. It's 17.
I had a feeling you were going to say 17, but
Wait, 17 more than Big Bang?
17 more than Big Bang. I would say Big Bang more than 17.
But at least Funk It is an okay song. What was 17's okay song this year?
They had what did 17 put out this year besides Boom Boom? They had another
Are You
song.
Nice?
Are You Nice?
Some other one?
For me, most improved. I don't know if I have a most improved.
Still on disappointing. Oh no, I already decided it's Taeyeon. At least, why did I go to images for looking up discography? I was like, let's look at the images, guys.
Jeez, I don't know what I'd say for most improved.
4 Minute because they disbanded. Oh, yeah, they were Pretty You, Very Nice, and Boom Boom. That's compared to Adore You, Monse, and Q&A.
Oof.
That is disappointing.
Ooh. Yeah, that's hard to say. I don't know. For me, it's going to be Big Bang for
Big Bang.
most disappointing.
I support you with Big Bang. I'm gonna go 17. Change my answer.
Most improved for you, Taeyeon. I don't have a most improved.
I mean, that's okay.
I don't think I have a most improved. I'm sorry.
I'm sure we'll think of it the next category, much like this one. Okay, well, the last category, and this is a very self-serving category, but this is the best K-pop related thing we watched. We're not going to mention Terrace House. That's
Even though we want to.
Even though we want to. But
Watch
best
Terrace House.
K-pop thing we watched.
Poison
It could be a
Girls
performance. It could be a funny video. It could be a variety show. What's the best thing we watched? Could be Produce 101.
So let's just put out some candidates, and then amongst those, let's choose. For me, what I want to put out is the Yum Yum performance. No, not the Yum Yum. The
Fingertips?
No, the Somi performance with Yoo Jung, where they're lip syncing.
Oh, the Nicki Minaj. Wait, Nicki Minaj?
Yeah, Bang Bang. The
Bang
Bang
Bang.
Bang performance.
Yeah, okay.
I remember watching that and I was like, yo.
That's a good fucking
I
performance.
was like, yo, that's a good fucking performance.
Ooh, I didn't even think of that. I was going to go something more traditional, like either Produce 101 or Knowing Brothers.
Knowing Brothers is a good one too.
Because even though Knowing Brothers came out, I think 2014, they weren't relevant, and B, they changed their entire format in 2015, right?
Yeah. It's kind of hard to compare the two, right? Because like Knowing Brothers,
doesn't always have K-pop.
Yeah,
people
it doesn't always have K-pop people, but it also doesn't always have bangers for episodes. You know, because we're kind of taking Knowing Brothers as a whole piece, like a whole collection of work.
So I think if we want to say best singular thing we watched, right? Like one clip, one thing, then yeah, Knowing Brothers is off the list. But if it was best thing, like as a whole, we watched.
Produce or Knowing Brothers is pretty up there.
Trying to think, is there any? You know what? Again, this is like a recent thing. And I've rewatched this multiple times. I don't know why. I really like the Pledis girls dancing to Adore You.
I do like it too.
I've watched that maybe 10 times in the last like week and a half. I really don't know. I'm sure there are millions of clips of girl groups dancing to guy groups, but like I really like 17's dance style, and I really like cute girls. And I really like, or think a lot of the Pledis girls are cute. So if we were to make a category like most hype group that we kind of know of that was debut in 2017, for me, it's definitely Pristine, or where the fuck they call it. Pristine.
No, Forever Pledis girls.
Or maybe Somi's new group. That would be interesting. 2017.
I'm gonna have.
But that performance is a great.
I'm gonna have to say Bang Bang performance. That was, I remember watching that performance and I was like, yo, what the fuck?
You're right. And I mean, we can lump that. I mean, but we don't watch that many performances though. That's the thing. I'm sure there are other things from other people that are like, well, you didn't see this performance. And I'm like, I don't watch performances ever.
Well, because they don't really do anything for us. And for the,
if it's the same thing 100 times.
And for us to say like, yo, that performance, you know,
which was crazy because I mentioned on this podcast before, but it's probably been like a year. Like I used to back in college before the YouTube days. All right. Damn, was me in college before? God.
Anyways,
I was into K-pop and J-pop, and I would go to forums and I would download all the performances that they would do. So I would have an entire hard drive, like a terabyte hard drive, which back then was a lot. Nowadays it's not so much.
Yeah.
But like, and it was entirely filled. It would be like, I don't know, Wonder Girls Tell Me, August 8th performance. Wonder Girls Tell Me, August 9th performance. Wonder Girls Tell Me, August 10th performance. And like, I would make a playlist and it would just play and the performance would be slightly different. But I would have like gigs and gigs and gigs of all these performances because I used to love that shit. And nowadays, I'm just like, I don't care. Like, what is it? Why the live performances? Like, whatever, you know. Song could be amazing, but yeah. Great awards this year, y'all. I don't know why I'm so tired. It's only 9 p.m. today, but I did wake up at a relatively normal time. I woke up at 9 a.m. today. When'd you wake up, Josh? So I can throw you under the bus.
I think 3 or 4 p.m. But I was really sick last night and I took meds.
Sick drinking?
No, actually, I went home before 12.
You went home before 12?
Yeah. And I just went to dinner and had a few beers and I went home and I was like, I don't feel well. And I took...
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that and I got angry because if I get sick, nothing's going to be edited ever.
But you're always sick too.
I'm like really sick.
You've been really sick this year, like quite often.
I'm always like a little sick and not feeling well, but I mean... What were you? Were you like kind of feeling sick or were you like...
Yeah, I was kind of feeling sick.
I want to kill myself sick.
I was kind of feeling sick and then I took flu meds and I slept for forever.
Oh, shoot. We got to finish reading these lists, guys.
Yes, we do.
We didn't finish the list. I think the last one was linked. So we're going to finish the podcast with these lists. Sorry about this super rambly after show. It's 2017. Welcome to how we do things in the after show.
All right, I'll start off.
Oh, you'll start it off.
Sure, I'll start off. This next list is by our chingu, the Moose Jesus. You weren't there for that Slack conversation.
Yeah,
we were talking about how I can't remember who. So on our Slack, he's a very very active member on Slack, and someone said like they didn't know how to pronounce his name. They always thought it was the Moose Jesus, and that cracked me up. Because
that's
it's
way
the Moose
better.
Jesus.
Yeah.
The Moose Jesus doesn't really have a good...
I mean, it's still a great name, the Moose Jesus, normally.
But it doesn't have a flow to it. It doesn't have a cadence. The Moose Jesus, though.
Spicy.
Just right. Number 10, IOI's Very, Very, Very. Number 9, Girlfriend Naviera. Number 8, LaBoom's Shooting Love. Number 7, Park Kyung featuring Nana Inferiority Complex. Oh, I didn't mess it up that time. Yo, maybe because
you did a little bit.
but I didn't mess it up as bad as I used to. Number 6.
Most improved award, John.
Most improved. Number 6, Red Velvet's Russian Roulette. Number 5, Brave Girls High Heels. 4, Twice Cheer Up. 3, Mamamoo You're the Best. 2, 17's Pretty You. And number 1, Oh My Girls Windy Day. Spicy.
That is.
Every list is spicy, to be honest.
There's always one spicy thing, right? Especially it's like girl group, and then 17 shows up, and we just talked about how disappointing they were. All right, the next list is by Go Mad,
who I say gonad sometimes when I read it.
That's weird.
Go mad.
Yeah.
Just like
I mean, I get where you got gonad from.
I mean, just like I have a weird brain. Like when I saw Take That's name and it had X2, I just said take that instead of.
True, but it's like oh, you're a fan of ours. Let's call you Gonad.
Sorry, Gonad.
I'm looking out for you.
Sorry, Go Mad.
Number 10 is Louise. Is it Louise or Louise?
Or Louise.
Louise and Flow Sick with Recipe.
Spicy.
Number 9, Nell's Dreamcatcher. Number 8, Suran's Dang Dang Dang. Number 7, Shiny's Tell Me What to Do. Number 6, IOI's Very Very Very. Number 5, Home with Dilemma. Number 4, Polbagan Puberty's Fighting Day.
That actually came up on a lot of people's lists. I have to go and listen to that.
Number 3, Nudies Ballionaire. Did we read this list already? I feel like we did.
I feel like we did. I remember all these spicinesses.
Yeah. Number 2, CSP's Hwahin featuring Kang Min-hee. I feel like we read this. Did I write it down twice? Did I think about it twice? Number 1, J Park's Put 'Em Up. I'm 99% we read that already.
Did we read all these already?
I don't think we read these.
These ones though.
Yeah. Maybe I just wrote that one twice.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure we haven't read the mollusks.
Oh, I know why. Because she emailed me with her list, and I think I wrote that down in the email section, and then she also put it on Slack, and so I put it in the Slack section. That might be why, or I'm going crazy.
Anyways, this next list is from the mollusk, another Slack Chingu. Number 10, KG's Look at You. That was a good song. That's a good song. Number 9, Oh My Girl's Liar Liar. Also another good song. Number 8, AOA's Good Luck. Let's go to number 7.
I love it. You know what? We're like, BTS and EXO's not showing up on any list. They showed up. Like, this is a shitty song. We fucking hate it. Shows up on the list. It's like we're the opposite forecasters.
I know. Number 7, Mino, Body. Number 6, Today's. What is this? Humiliator. That's a secret. That's weird. I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that song.
Number 5, Primary featuring Zion T and Gecko. See-Through? No, that's not from this year.
Definitely not from this year.
That's from like 6 years, 7 years.
But maybe
ago.
it's like did he discovered it this year?
If you just discovered the song, go back and listen to that first Primary album. It is amazing. One of my favorite K-pop albums. But number 4, Giri Boy featuring Hane Zoa? What is that?
I don't know, dude.
Anyways.
Spicy, that's what that is.
Spicy. Number 3, Red Velvet's Russian Roulette. Number 2, BTS Save Me. Number 1, Luna, Free Somebody. So that's interesting that his number 1 is a station song.
Especially the
Luna one.
Especially that one. Sorry, bro. The next one's by Diggy.
Our Chingu Diggy.
Number 10, Mighty Mouth. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Number 9, BTS's Save Me. Number 8, Sonny's Like an Airplane. Number 7, EXO's Lotto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 6, Twice's TT.
Wait, hold on. Were you just like confused that EXO's on there, or
no? I was confused because
they had
Lotto
a
is
song.
a terrible song.
Yeah.
not because I didn't know it existed.
Monster?
Because
not CBX's Hey Mama.
Monster is a much better song. Sorry, Diggy. Lotto.
We're not shitting on your list.
Wait, Lotto's the one that's like entirely auto-tuned, right?
Yeah, that's the
I'm not
auto-tune
crazy,
one.
right?
That's the auto-tune one. Hey, they like what they like. We like what we like.
If the video version ever comes out, you can see my wide-eyed face on that one. Lotto. I thought I read it wrong. I'm sorry, we're digging into number 6. It's like the Gonad thing, man. I'm sorry. Except mine's harsher. Number 6, Twice's TT. Number 5, Everything Dean Has Touched This Year.
Yo.
All Them Girls. Number 4, Red Velvet's Russian Roulette. Number 3, Infinite's The Eye.
That's also a good song, but yeah.
Is it a good song?
I think it's a decent song.
Oh, I've never once heard you even mention that. Number 2, Dal Shabet's Someone Like You. And number 1's Blackpink Playing With Fire. All right, we got a couple more to go.
Yeah, let's read them out. So this next one is from Rick. Number 10, IOI's Nomu Nomu Nomu. Or Very, Very, Very in English. Number 9, Halo Maria. Number 8, Bekayan Soso. I remember that song. Number 7, 10 Centimeters What the Spring. Number 6, V Romance's She.
That's a good song.
Number 5, 24 Hours Get It On. Number 4, Mamamoo You're the Best. Number 3, Park Kyung featuring Una, Inferiority Complex. Yo, I'm getting better and better at that one though.
Got it.
Number
Practice
2,
makes perfect.
Twice's Cheer Up / T2. And number 1, Yu Sung-woo's Whatever. The one where he dies. And also Only You.
You know what? Those are both great songs.
Those are both really good songs. They were on my list.
That also reminds me, Josh, that the entire point of this podcast, by the way, was to talk about the songs that didn't make our top 10. And we have not once yet talked about that yet.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like an hour and 50 minutes in.
Hey.
That's kind of crazy. The last list is by HJ119. Number 10 is Code Kunst featuring BY, YDG, and Suran with Beside Me. Number 9, Russian Roulette by Red Velvet. Number 8, Lehi's Breathe. Number 7, Holmes' Dilemma. Number 6, FT Island's Take Me Now. Number 5, Winner's I'm Young, which is a Taehyun solo.
We're not going to get any more of those.
Rest in peace. Well, we'll get maybe a lot of them on SoundCloud because I know he puts a lot of things on SoundCloud. Number 4, NCTU's Without You. Number 3, Jungju-young.
I want to say Jungju-young.
Featuring Soo-young-eun.
Seo-young-eun
with Sympathy. Number 2, Vix's Dynamite Fantasy.
Dynamite / Fantasy.
Sorry.
Dynamite Fantasy.
That's what I want in my fantasy. Number 1, Day 6, Letting Go.
This is a spicy list. You can tell that they really like rock.
Yeah.
Or at least kind of Korean rock.
And boys. Okay. Well, you know what, Josh? Since the point was to talk about our list, let's go through it really quick because I feel like it's really bad.
Sure.
So we'll very quickly, kind of right outside our top 10 and honorable mentions. I mean,
see, I haven't ranked these. This is the problem.
No, I haven't ranked them at all. I just want to go through some of them. Like I really like the Snacky Chan song featuring Babylon. It's called like Out of Time. I really like that. The Bumkey song was also hanging around a bit. By the way, I organized them. I don't know if you know, but like I put like solo R&B dudes. I don't know if you remember my honorable mentions, but they're in categories. Do, yeah. Are there any interesting?
You know the funny things. A lot of songs that are on your list are kind of on my list. Like the Johnny I'm Good song, that's on my list. Jero Airplane, that's on my list. Sick K Rendezvous, that's also on my list.
You know what? Best girl rap song,
Kitty B's Doing Good. I remember when that song came out, we were like, "Yo, that's a pretty good song."
I still really like that song, but I just couldn't. I just couldn't put it
bring
on.
myself to put it really, really, really high in there.
Right. Some other ones.
That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's
great.
Mix Oh My Mind.
Ooh.
Oh My Mind.
A song that Josh will never put, but Pleatus Girls. We just talked about them. I love that song. I don't know why I love it so
Brave
much.
Girls, High Heels.
Brave Girls, High Heels, almost made it. Miss Money, Don't Speak Without a Soul. Yes. I love me some Miss Money.
Sisters, I like that. I have that on there as well.
Red Velvet's Russian Roulette.
Well, I mean, that was on my list.
Yeah. Wonder Girls, Why So Lonely.
I also have that in here as well.
For boy groups, I have...
you know what? I'm surprised that you didn't put for Brave Girls. I liked Yoo-hoo better than High Heels.
See, I like Yoo-hoo decently, but I like High Heels more.
Interesting.
But they're both still in that category of like B-side Brave Sound songs, you know?
BAP, that's my jam. Doom, 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 doom. It sounds like that 80s fight.
I love it.
Right? 80s arcade beat 'em up.
And actually, for a song that I know I didn't super like in the beginning that crept up a lot for me personally is Madtown's Emptiness.
I honestly do not remember what that sounds like.
Yeah, it's like a sad sounding guy group song, but it has some flavor in it and some rappiness. It's
obviously
pretty good.
Big Bang's Fuck It, EXO's Monster, V Romance She. Those are all on my list. But I also have like some other stuff from like a lot of kind of these one-on-ones, like Henry and So You. I like that running song.
Yeah, got that here.
Like Everything Hyorin's Done, I think is on there.
Yep, that was on my list technically.
Reddy and J Park's Think. I like that song as well. For me, I also have Roddy on here and Villain. Just some really interesting stuff. Like Hoodie, I also have him here.
Like I have the basic song, the nice song, fucking nice.
Mm-hmm.
Smoothest fucking nice I've ever heard in my life. That Jamin Ready for Your Love song. Love it. Hyona's. Come on. Hyona's, how's that? How's this?
Yeah. So I'm going to read some songs that aren't on your list. I really like that Ladies Code song. A lot of our chingus like that Ladies Code song. I also like Eric Nam's Good For You. G Soul's Where Do We Go From Here? That Amber Station song, Need to Feel Needed. I really like that song. And Jun K song, the Junk song, Think About You. Yeah, I really like those songs.
Yeah, those are maybe if I made a 20 to 40, I think those would be there.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
Are there any other? Park Ji-min's Try. I actually really like that song now.
Park Ji-min's Try.
Yeah. I didn't really like it at first, but I really do enjoy that song now. What other songs that are not on yours? You know the Sonny stuff?
Like an Airplane
Like an Airplane was all right. I also decently like the Raina one, Sugar and Me.
I remember the music video more than the song itself.
The Dohyun eating all that sick K food, that sick food.
Boom, boom.
I don't think I have anything else that we want to spend time on, although Mamamoo and BTS. I don't know. There's a lot of people on here. It's in a lot of indie people, right? Like
a lot smaller.
Yeah. Sistar though, please, Sistar 19, maybe come back. Maybe Sistar 19, pretty please. Is there any other crazy random shit you hope for? Like if you could have something happen 2017. You know what I want? I want Girls' Generation to come out with a fucking banger. I think that would be amazing.
That would be nuts.
Probably not what happened, but that would
like
be
a
amazing.
Resurgence of like some old groups.
Because I mean, they put in a lot of work last year, right? But they're definitely probably not coming back this year. What if they showed up and was like, Jessica, we're all fine now, guys. We love each other. No,
never gonna happen.
That's never gonna happen. So prior to AOA coming out with their song, I was always praying that AOA would come back with a Brave Sound song. That's been a dream of mine for years, right? And now my dream came true, and from all accounts of other people, it wasn't very good.
After this podcast, you want to listen to it together? Like hold hands and listen to it together?
All right.
Because we have to listen to it sometime. And if we're not going to listen to it today, we're going to listen to it like in a few days.
Yeah, you're right. Is there any other crazy nonsense things that you hope for though?
Not nonsense things. I think all the things that I hope for are pretty standard. Like I don't want Twice to fall off the map. I don't want Red Velvet to fall off the map. I want some boy group to kind of catch my interest. Just normal things.
I do want another boy group. Because we had 17 at a time. We had GOT7 sort of at a time.
BTS, we were kind of looking up.
BTS was looking up.
Like Joro and things like that, right? Like
maybe V-Romance will be there.
Because the problem is no boy group has held our attention and like kept it for a long time.
Right. You heard my spiel about how I think boy groups have been taking it easy. So hopefully 2017 will be the year that boy groups decide to stop putting out generic trash and think of, ways to appease everybody that doesn't just find them disgustingly hot.
And what I really want is K-R&B to keep doing what it's been doing. I think K-R&B this past year has been astoundingly good. Well, not astoundingly good, but so good.
I mean, I know you really like Dean.
Yeah, but Dean aside.
I think Crush didn't do that much this year. I also don't think
but a lot of the
Zanti
smaller
did
names,
that much.
But a lot of the smaller names have really been picking up the slack.
That's
like you had a whole section in your honorable mentions just for like R&B dudes.
But we always do.
Yeah.
Don't we?
That's all I'm saying. I just want to keep
on going.
To keep going and going.
But I want the big names.
You want the big hitters.
Big hitters to come out with some good R&B things.
You know what I want? I want Bumkey to make a good song again.
Last thing, if I had a wish, I want big names to start doing big things. That's what I want.
So you want big names
To
Mo
stop
game.
letting us down. Yeah, we want big names, Mo game?
instead of no games.
You're right. Big name. I want a big section that says big names make me came. Okay? That's what I want. All right? Because
Big names me came.
big names and big came. I don't know.
Oh God.
Sometimes we get
God.
reviews that are like, they're so vulgar and they're not mature and they're not having a mature discussion. I'm like, pfft. And then it comes
We're not
to
here.
this.
We're not here to have a mature discussion. We're not.
You're
We're
right.
not industry experts. We're not musical experts.
Yeah, we've said this, or we've said this before, which is like, if you want that kind of in-depth discussion, like we ain't those dudes. Also, I don't personally want to listen to a podcast like that, right? Like when I listen to film podcasts, I want to hear informed people with great opinions that I respect, but I don't want them to spend 2 hours talking about the cinematography details. I don't want them to talk about fucking like camera lenses and what they use and all that. Like, I don't really want to know about the process of making the music. I just want, people that I can respect their opinions talk about music, if that makes sense.
And I think
So that's how I set this up.
I think Steven and I have been very clear about what we kind of want to do with this podcast. Like since the get-go, we want to make this podcast for all those people who don't have friends to talk K-pop about, because when Steven and I first started listening to K-pop, we had the kind of similar thing. And when we came to Korea, we had a similar thing. And that's why we kind of hooked up. And we just kind of want to do that for you guys. And we just kind of want this to be like a discussion amongst friends. That's why we call you our friends. We want it to be a discussion amongst friends. We're not experts in any sort of means. So
And nothing.
yeah,
Punching our own dicks, maybe.
we're real good at that.
Yeah. I guess that brings us to, gosh dang it, it's a long podcast, but I want to talk about this, which is our hopes for the podcast in 2017. Now, the major problem in 2017 is there's a very, very high probability. We say this sometimes every year, but very high probability that we're going to split up.
Yes.
Not the podcast is over, but we're
going to be in two different places.
Yeah, we're either both going back to America, where we live in different states, or
It's really up in the air. at
Josh
this point.
stays and I go home, or I go to Japan
And
Josh-
I might go to Japan too. Hey,
that is the dream.
that's the dream.
Kind of dream scenarios that we both somehow can go to Japan.
Together
but
and
I
live
don't
kind of
know
close
if that's
enough,
happening.
potentially.
Maybe we can say we're married. We're gay married, and then they'll put us together in the same
Gay
place.
married instead of regular married. Right?
Well, we can't get regular married, Josh. This is Trump's America we live in. Okay,
You're right.
we could get getting gay married, which is the one with less
With
less respect.
Yeah.
I don't know.
the one with less benefits, maybe.
Legally, it's the same thing, but nobody cares about legally. Anyways, that's a whole nother conversation. I'm totally fine with getting gay married. We can do it.
Why would we get?
So that we can be placed in the same city. Because that's how it works in Korea. If you're married, they'll make sure.
But if you're, I don't think Korea
Okay,
cares
but-
about gay married though.
Oh, Korea would definitely care. They would definitely not accept gay married people here.
Yeah. No, I meant they don't care about
Oh,
places as a place, even if we're gay married.
Wait, what?
They wouldn't take us into consideration to put us in the same place if we were gay married. Like they don't care, is what I meant.
Oh.
Don't care.
Okay. I think they wouldn't accept us at all because they're still super homophobic.
That's what we
here.
mean. I think we mean the same thing. I think we're on the same page
Oh.
here.
I think they'd be like, "Oh, you're gay? That's totally fine with us," and then never call us ever again.
Oh, that sucks that you guys are gonna have to be a weekend couple.
No, okay. So you're saying they would still let us come, but separately. I'm saying
yeah.
they would never let us come if they knew we were openly gay.
Maybe not. Huh?
Because
Anyways, Japan.
We know
It's a
gay
dream.
people here, and they can't be openly gay here.
I mean, it's always been I don't know for you, but it's always been a dream of mine to live in
To
Japan.
be gay. Oh.
If I wanted to be gay, I would just go and be gay. I don't know.
Not in Korea though.
That's true.
This is getting weird. Yeah, to live in Japan. Me too. For the longest time, because I was obsessed with J-pop and anime and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I was like, I want to go to Japan. And then K-pop snuck in, was like, bam, cute girls that aren't 12 years old.
Who don't
Maybe-
got snaggletooths that you're like, sign me up.
And they actually have way better music and way better dancing. It's like, Running Man. Oh, Korean dramas. But
Yeah.
recently, maybe the Terrace House bump is making me think like, before I go home for real, I should at least visit that side of my wants, And plus, Simon and Martina, They also recently put out that video that was like why we like Japan way more than Korea. And I'm like, oh, damn.
That had a huge impact on me also.
Yeah, like all those things we've had a problem with, right? Like it sounds so much better in Japan.
Yeah. And I think it really hit home for us because we're still living in all those things that they kind of complained about.
Right. So anyway, 2017, there's a big chance that
we might not be in the same place.
Right.
The same place at the same time, just like that one IOI song, or produce one of those.
we're in the same place.
Yeah.
And that also kind of, it's not meant to be an excuse, but it does kind of is one of the reasons why editing the video podcast has been so low on my priority list, is because while the podcast will continue, we've assured you guys as part of like the Patreon and all that stuff that the podcast will continue no matter what. The audio podcast will be fine, but the video version is not really going to work if we're in different places.
Be in trouble, yeah.
So in my brain, it's like, well, if it's going to end one day, it's going to be really low on my priority list now. But, you know, my 2017 kind of thing was like, I'm going to start editing it. So I did release 105 on YouTube. I skipped a bunch. So I'm not really sure.
We had some snags with that anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, JYP. JYP.
We can have a whole podcast of how stupid YouTube is with their copyright.
But we won't.
We will.
Because this is already a 2-hour long podcast.
Yeah. I'll probably edit down the audio ones to cut out some repetitive stuff. But the video version, I don't really edit much. So you're going to get all of this.
All of it.
Full, uncut, uncensored This Week in K-Pop. There's probably more shit, but whatever. I'm tired. You're tired of listening to us. This is, I think, maybe longer than the actual.
You never answered the question. What do you want for this podcast out of 2017?
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't want to continue. I want to keep growing.
Mm-hmm.
And while we have grown, we grow every year. By the way, we're almost at 500,000 downloads, like half a million downloads, which is crazy. I want to do other things, Josh. Maybe not K-pop related at all. Like there are so many ideas I want to do, and we never do them, Josh. We never do them.
I'm still wishy-washy.
It doesn't have to be that one. It could be many other things.
Okay, so I'm still wishy-washy, but I really think our bottleneck is editing because Steven takes most of the editing.
No.
You don't think it's been editing?
I think that is a problem, but I think the bottleneck is we're both lazy.
Well, that's also problems.
We don't want to do and
we can do it. Let's go forward, Steven.
Maybe.
Let's make the most of our time here.
So like I probably should mention this. I haven't talked to you about this at all. But like me and my friend from home, this is the most after show thing ever. But there's this guy on YouTube. He doesn't make many videos, but he was big on Reddit for a while, which is he just times himself. How long does it take to learn his skill? Right. So for example, he learned how to do a kickflip. And he filmed his entire process, and it was like it took him 18 hours of practice to learn how to kickflip. And I'm like, that's cool. Like he's actually learning something. It's a skill. It's not a super useful skill, but he's learning something and maybe inspiring other people to spend time and not just sit there and watch YouTube videos or sit there and do fucking nothing and learning a skill, right? And so me and my friend want to pretty much copy him and learn his skill, but we're kind of versusing each other, like who can learn it the quickest. So I want to do that. So I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if we're even fucking doing it because my friend is also equally kind of flaky. And he's got his own family and son, and he's kind of busy, right? But I want to do that. I don't foresee that editing taking too long, right? But I also want to do something related to our channel. And I don't know what that could be, whether it's us, again, being the samgyeopsal connoisseur.
Yeah, I'd be totally down to do that, though.
You say that, but we've been talking about visiting restaurants for the longest time, and we finally have all the gear, and we don't do it because.
So step one, the goal should be we should do a video outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do a video outside since your brother. Remember when your brother came and we went to the spa and I actually brought my camera and stuff, but we never actually did it.
Anything, yeah.
Right. And I'm not blaming you or anything, but it's like both of our dynamics for that kind of stuff are the same. Like we're both kind of embarrassed to be out in public, and we need somebody who's just like, fuck it, let's do this. I don't want to be embarrassed.
We need to just break it one time so we can so the next time that we do it, we're just like, well, we've done it fucking once.
Right.
You know?
And like the closest we've ever done for that is that video that will never ever be released, where we try to do that lip syncing thing, and like it's we didn't really have the gear we should have for that video, right? But like we actually did do it, and even though it never saw the light of day, maybe that made us never want to try anything ever again. I'm not real sure. Like editing is a big problem for sure. Like time spent, because I also want to play video games. I want to do things, but
you know, Steven, let's do it.
30. I'm 30 now. You know,
I'm 30 in crane age.
Shut the fuck up. Wait, I'm like 32 now, technically, right? Because the year just passed, right?
Yeah.
I want to do something.
But let's, you know what?
2017 hashtag. I want to do something.
Let's do it this year.
If we haven't done it, send us 1 million emails about how shitty we are as people.
Let's do it this year.
Hey, Josh, remember that interview podcast we were supposed to do?
Oh,
we promised
yes. People? Yes, I remember that.
We also didn't do that. And that was something we legit promised people as part of Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
We're really bad at doing things.
We're just terrible people.
So 2017, what I want from the podcast is I want the podcast to keep going, right? I want to make it as popular as ever. I don't really know how we're going to do that. I wanted to bring in other like interviews and not interviews, but like collabs or something. Like I think we're at kind of doing as much as we can for the podcast already, right? It's a niche of a niche of a niche. You know, we're not JRE. Like if JRE started a podcast, I'm sure it would instantly have way more people than us. But so far, luckily, he's sticking to what he's doing. Okay.
Yeah.
But I want to do some other stuff, you know, and if going to a different restaurant every 2 weeks to eat samgyeopsal and trying to figure out which one's and ranking them just for funsies, I think that'd be fun. If it's doing that K-pop game that you don't want to do, I mean, we could do that.
You know what, Steven? Let's go. I've said it. I've said it. And I've said it. And I've said it. And I said it. But let's.
Because you know I'm lazy.
Let's fucking go. I'm gonna have to.
We gotta.
One of us is gonna have. It might have to be both of us, but we're gonna have to drag each other out of it.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, so that's the longest after show for God knows. We thought it'd be short, but you know, whatever. We'll see you guys next time in the main episode. It's gonna be recorded relatively soon because I'm going to America next week. But we'll see you then.
Bye.